You deserve to be alone, and you always will be. However, you can be whoever you want and whatever you want, even someone good. I just didn't know if anybody ever told you that. This is the Bros Watch Loki. We got a lot to go through. I'm all hopped up on a bunch of coffee right now because I had to do something to wrap my mind around episode 4 here. The Nexus Event. I mean, holy crap! What an episode of television this was.
It's fantastic.
And they have, I mean, every episode of this series has been an absolute grand slam.
They've really knocked it out of the park.
I mean, they have really, really outdone themselves with this Loki series. But shall we begin?
Yeah. All right, so, I mean, first off, the TVA just sucks dick. They're stealing little kids.
Well, please, this is a family show here, brother.
They're just not very nice people.
Yeah, no, yeah, we get them taking Sylvie when she was a child. You know, just, hey, you're in violating the timeline. Yeah. You gotta come with us, kids, sorry.
Essentially, just for existing is what it looks like.
Yeah. When that scene first popped up, I was like, "Oh, Asgard! Oh, what are we doing here?"
I know,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And so not. I mean, she's like Loki in terms of like multiverse existence. In that, she very much from the exact same kind of Asgard that we've seen before. So, and then we see they kind of pull her into the courtroom, like we saw at the beginning with Loki. I think, Ravonna is the one that captures her.
Yep.
Which was
it was a long time ago.
It was a very long time ago.
Ravonna doesn't look like she aged at all, and
right.
Sylvie has obviously grown up, and she's Asgardian, so she could be 10,000 years old.
Sure. Well, but also, this is where I get this, and just completely screws me in the head. Because technically, Ravonna, like it could have only been like a few days, right? Because she hop around time, right? So
yeah, it very well could have been.
I can't think about that too much because smoke will come out of my ears eventually.
Yeah, like we don't know when she was actually promoted.
Right.
She was.
And so, So, anyways, I mean, obviously, before she was in the position of power that she's in now, but I think just. Interesting, a tidbit there. We get Sylvie, somehow grabs a TemPad and is able to warp out. Which she'll explain what she did later, a little bit later, I guess. So I mean, I think we now know that we get more to Sylvie's backstory here, right? So we didn't know really when she was first captured by the TVA or running from them or whatnot, but now we find out that yeah, she was a kid.
Yeah, we didn't have any really backstory besides, well, she was a variant. Oh, okay. Well, why does she hate the TVA?
Right.
Well, she's a variant.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely get a little bit more to it, and we get a glimpse of the timekeepers finally.
Just a
tiny little bit.
We see the glowing eyes in the dark,
Confirmed, they do exist. They do actually exist.
At that moment, they do exist, yes.
They do.
And if you've already watched the episode, I'm sure you know what we're talking about. But
yeah.
So then now what? I watched the episode twice already. So next we go Mobius signing the case file with her, right? Like the.
No.
No. That's right. Lamentus. That's right. We cut to Lamentus.
And they're having a nice conversation on Lamentus.
Yeah, and this is a debate I've seen going for a couple episodes now, both with my friends and on Twitter and on other podcasts.
We were so close to getting some hot Loki on Loki action.
Yeah, I mean, this is is it Loki having feelings for himself in a cosmic way? Is it Loki having feelings for a relative or related in some way? There's a lot of questions here. A lot of people have been saying is this?
It seemed like he was gonna kiss her.
Oh no, he definitely was. But I've seen a lot of people debating on, is this, I'm not gonna get into it too much because I've seen some wild debates online.
We can talk about it a little bit later.
Right.
But I've got some feelings.
But yeah, so we get the branch, right? So Mobius is back in the TVA, and they see a huge spike, timeline branch spike.
Yeah.
And he did say too that they had zoomed in on the timeline or focused in, which I guess we hadn't really heard before. So they can, if they're looking for something super specific, they can focus in on that. And so we get the spike of them on the Mentis, and then of course with the spike, they warp in 2 doors. Boom, here you're out of there right before the planet hits the moon. Of course, right into custody.
And they had to take him because otherwise, they'd just be crushed by a planet. So
you can't take
really a choice.
You can't take down the TVA if you're smattered into bits. It's floating around the universe.
Yeah. They take him into custody, and then we get Loki very quickly gets like, "Hey, you're all variants. The TVA's lying to you," and then he gets tossed into prison.
Yes. Well, yeah. Okay. Into a form of a prison.
Memory prison.
Yeah, memory prison. Which I was like, oh, Sif's back, Jamie Alexander, yay! No.
Yeah.
No.
Leave that man's nuts alone. He's had enough.
Bro, he took, like a hellish amount of shots to the groin. Like,
he
what?
Was in there for longer than what we saw. So like.
Well, but also then we get into like he could have been in there for a year, taking on,
yeah.
We get into that whole debate, but. Even within the episode, 15 straight minutes of nut shots is not something I would want to go through personally. Yeah. So, but yeah, and then you kind of see him trying to he's trying to do his old Loki tricks, like to trick her, which I didn't understand because like you already know it's within your own memory, so you're not gonna trick your own anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was good to see her. A little callback, little throwback to previous Thor, movies and. So then did we go then to B-15, right? Isn't that where we go next? We cut to her outside the
I think it was Mobius asking about C-20, and he gets told that she died.
Okay, so then we do go next to the them filling out the case file while Loki's. So they've captured him. Now they're signing off on the file, right?
They don't close it out yet because Mobius eventually comes back in. And he's
or is
like,
that the
hey,
next?
It's time to talk.
That's the next scene.
Yeah, that's
after
I don't remember. He throws. So okay, Mobius comes in and he's like, "Hey, are you ready to talk?" And they talk, and
right.
Loki lies to him a little bit about being like the mastermind of the plan, and then Mobius just absolutely roasts him. Just
but he
in on him.
Yeah, roasts him, but he realizes that he likes himself.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like he roasts him about being a narcissist, and he's like, "You fell in love with yourself, like literally yourself.
Right,
this is the most narcissistic thing I've ever seen."
Yeah. No, that was a great scene, and you kind of you see Mobius kind of being more animated than he's been in previous episodes as well. So I don't know if it's the frustration of the whole situation, or he's kind of starting to realize okay, not everything is exactly how it seems. As far as
too much time with Loki's.
upper management. Well, it could very much be too much time,
right.
Especially with our Loki. But yeah, that was a great little scene. And then he goes to her where Sylvie's being held, right? And
he wants to question her.
And he wants to talk to her, and he asked B-15, nobody's getting in there. But then he asked her that little question, right? She had to stop for a minute and think about it. He mentions Loki said, by the way, we weren't created by the T, or whatever he said. Just bringing up that conversation with Loki. And she kind of pauses for a minute. Oh, she knows something.
Yeah,
she knows.
I think the little light bulb went off because later. I don't know if this was later or during Mobius and Nirvana talking about closing the case file. But B-15 goes and visits Sylvie.
Right. Sorry. I had a work text. I had a work text I had to look at. Anyways. Wait. So say that again.
I can't remember the timing of it, but B-15 goes and sees Sylvie and then takes her to the rocks cart.
Right. They go back, which, by the way, Sophia DiMartino with wet hair. Give me that all day. I'm here for it.
I knew you couldn't resist saying something.
Anyway,
I thought this was a family show.
I didn't say nothing.
Yeah. Okay. We do get the kind of like explanation at some point about getting memories back after enchantment, because throughout the episode, Sylvie was pretty keen on saying like, no, I can't make this stuff up. I'm just using your old memories.
Right. Well, that's the conversation they have right then, right? Like at the rocks cart, is like, hey, like I didn't put those in your head. Like those are there.
Yeah.
You know, and so of course B-15's interested, and she says, can you do it again?
Yeah.
So she does.
It seems like I was actually happy.
Right.
I was smiling so much.
Yeah. Well, happy, but also like, I have been lied to, right? So like, kind of that simultaneous like, oh my God, everything I've been doing for the last however long is a complete lie. Also, like, I used to like enjoy life.
Yeah. Maybe she rode a jet ski.
Well, no, we know who rode the jet ski. Okay.
Yeah. But we do have we get back to them to Ravonna and Mobius talking about closing the case, and Mobius asks her like, "Hey, what you gonna do with that sword?" And then what happens?
Well, I mean, she puts it on the deal, right?
Yeah, and that's when Mobius switches the temp pads.
Right. Yep. Which I think this is for sure the most rebellious thing he's ever done, right? Like, trying to find this info. And I think he's starting to piece it together too, because during their whole conversation, she's being a little coy with him, not really giving him the full information. And then he even says at one point, like, "Oh, that was a great speech," right? Like he knew that she wasn't just talking to him, right? Like he knew that she was giving him something prepared.
It was well rehearsed,
right? Which made me think, like, how many times has she done this to another, what do they call him? Detective? Agent. Agent. No, analyst.
Yeah, that's... Yeah,
so how many times has she done this to other analysts who have figured this out, right?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. She could have pruned all of them.
Right, so...
Anybody would have figured out.
So Mobius sneaks off.
And he looks
at the temp pad. Which, by the way, TVA, can we get
a better resolution?
Like, well, but also the temp pads look like a Game Boy, like a Game Boy Color or whatever they were when they had the flip screen. Like, can we not? I mean, come on. If we're the TVA, we gotta have.
Why would you improve on perfection if you've got a form factor that works?
I mean, I guess it's just like, but it's also like it was only 10 buttons. Like, you can't possibly be jumping through time with that few controls.
Anyways, he watches the video of C20. And he sees like, oh yeah, she really wasn't like degenerating. She was actually
because we didn't mention that earlier. Like Ravonna says like, oh yeah, she's dead. Like, and he was like, she was fine. Like she was making sense. Like she's a little freaked out, but like she made sense. And like, oh yeah, when she got back, like she deteriorated rapidly. Blah blah blah. So now he's watching this video and he sees like, oh okay, she was totally fine.
Yeah, and that's when he decides to go and snatch Loki out of his memory prison.
Right. Well, he also zooms in and sees that it was Ravonna, just to make sure.
Yeah.
And so now he's like, well, I gotta get Loki.
And he does. And when he comes back out of the memory prison, guess what? There's someone waiting for him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously she was gonna figure out that, she swapped temp pads, but I did think it was interesting, the little exchange there between him and Loki. He's kind of saying, do you think you deserve to be alone? And Loki's like, stop, playing around. And he's like, no. Like, do you actually think that you deserve to be alone? See, Mobius has figured out that, like, the key is Loki and Sylvie.
Yeah. But unfortunately, that revelation is a little bit short-lived.
Oh, yeah, because he gets pruned real quick, like.
Yeah, Mobius was like, I don't know. I'd like to go back to my old life, and I'd like to ride a jet ski.
Ride a jet ski, yeah, right. Yeah, because she asked him, like...
this poor guy can't even ride a jet ski.
Right.
He's been fascinated with
Right, because there was that question from earlier where, Ravonna had asked him if you could go anywhere at any time, where would you go? And he's like, well, I can. I'm like, no, seriously. Like,
let's touch on that later. Let's touch on that at the
end. I'm on the same wavelength there.
But, holy shit, they just killed Owen Wilson. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
We're not even. This isn't even the last episode.
We have 2 full episodes left after this, and we just wiped out Owen Wilson. I was like, oh, I yelled at the TV. I'm sure my neighbors were happy with that this morning.
Yeah, that dropped my jaw for sure.
And so then she says, all right, take him to the elevator, right? Like,
you don't mess up,
Yeah. So Loki and Sylvie are in custody, heading towards the elevator. She says we're going to see the timekeepers, right? So, oh my God, we're gonna get the timekeepers finally. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We get to see the timekeepers, and there's some.
And we do go into the timekeeper chamber.
Ugly looking lizard mother.
Can I say something though? When they showed the closer ups of the timekeepers when they were speaking, I immediately said, because the MCU, they spare no expense on graphics, right? Yeah. I immediately said to myself, they look too fake for them to be the time. Like I said, they look too fake. Yeah. They look too fake to be the real timekeepers. Because Kevin Feige don't play around. Like, that was done intentionally, which a few minutes later we find out that it was done intentionally. But I said to myself, I was like, this is not the timekeepers. They don't look real enough.
Uh-huh. We get a little bit of a fight scene after B-15 comes in. Is like, hey, drop the collars,
Right. Yeah. So we get Sylvie, Loki, and B-15 fighting Ravonna and her TVA agents. Good scene. There was some good kind of interplay. Like 3 different kind of fights going on at once.
Yeah.
She brought Sylvie's sword with her down, so tosses that to Sylvie. So we start getting some slice and dice. B-15.
Go ahead.
B-15 gets wiped.
Yep, she does.
So she's gone.
Gone. Then eventually, the Lokis, they do win out. They have a good fight.
So
and then...
Sylvie knocks out Ravonna. Loki takes care of his couple guys, and then Sylvie takes her sword and chucks it at a timekeeper's head.
Yes, and I loved when this happened. They were like gonna go on some long speech, and she's like, "Oh yeah," and then just
no.
It and
right before she throws it, he says, "We can talk. Like, let's make a deal."
Yeah.
And then the head comes off, rolls down the stairs, and then the other two, I don't know if you cut, the other two start laughing.
Yeah, they did start laughing, but then they like shut down. They just like.
And then they shut down, and we find out it's because they were robots.
And I can't. Loki or Sylvie goes like, it never ends.
Loki said that, yeah.
Loki just starts talking to Sylvie, and he's trying to explain his feelings, and then.
Well, not just his feelings, but we forgot that
I've never felt like this before.
We missed a line too. When Mobius goes to the memory prison, that Loki, we forgot to mention this. He says, "I've never seen a spike like that. You two are how we take this place down."
Yes, yeah.
And so Loki not only knows his feelings for Sylvie, but knows that they could potentially be the way to bring down the TVA, or disrupt the timeline, or whatever you want to.
Loki, he gets through with that. He's like, dude, I've never felt this way. He puts his hands
very
Sylvie.
gently.
We think we're gonna get a very nice moment between the Lokis, and then what the F?
Bro,
what happens?
They take out Tom Hiddleston. Like, what?
He's just gone. He's gone.
The show's named after him.
You're gonna Loki. We can't. It's not named Sylvie.
You're gonna evaporate Loki, like our Loki we know from the MCU. You're gonna evaporate him? What?
And I mean, look, I lost. I was like, I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Oh, I was like, I was like the brass balls on Kevin Feige.
He really has died so many times.
Gigante huevos.
Yeah, I know.
And man.
Well, we find out because like when I saw it, I was like, there's still scenes in the commercials that they haven't shown.
Well, not yet. Don't do it yet. We got a few minutes.
Like, no, I mean, like, he was where are the Vikings gonna come in? Or like
No, no,
he's
no, no, no,
fighting,
no,
he
no,
has a
no, no,
group
no,
of
no.
people.
Stop.
When's that
We're
gonna
not
come
there.
in,
We
Tim?
didn't finish the episode yet. Jesus. Also, we know that they always they've already said we film a lot of extra stuff for these movies just to put in the trailers. So they've already
Yes,
said
they
that,
do.
which all movies do. But anyways, so Sylvie knocks down Ravonna again. We think she's gonna wipe her. No, she says you're gonna tell me everything, right? So
Yeah.
Sylvie's about to get the lowdown.
She's gonna get enchanted really badly. She's
I
gonna green her
I
up.
don't know. I don't know if she's even gonna have to do that. I think it might just be one of these where Ravonna realizes that she messed up.
Maybe.
Yeah. So Sylvie takes Ravonna. Boom. Credits. And if you know Marvel, you know you always have to
And
watch
then
until the very end because there's always the likelihood something's gonna be in the post credits. Loki wakes up. Am I in hell? What is this? Where am I?
yeah.
Here's a voice. Nah, it ain't hell, brother. But you won't be
But-
alive much longer unless you come with us.
Yeah.
And we get
we get a camera shot.
we get 4 different Lokis.
We do. We get all the Lokis.
You want to know which Loki I focused on the most?
Lizard.
Alligator Loki. 100%.
Yeah.
We get alligator
Yeah.
Loki. We get
He had
little
like a
kid
hat on or something, right?
He had the thing. We get alligator Loki. We get little kid Loki. We get almost looked more like Thor than Loki.
Yeah.
And then like older, wiser Loki maybe.
That would be so funny if one of the Lokis was like, it just actually is Chris Hemsworth, but he's named Loki, like they switched it in some variant.
Yeah, that would be funny. But yeah, so then now we're officially done with the episode. We get Loki, and I don't know if anybody caught it in the background. It looked like World War III was going on, you know, with the buildings and whatnot behind them. Like they were all devastated
or it was
smoking or whatever it was, wherever they were. So now we're sitting here. We've got 2 episodes left, and I don't know. Like, what else can we do? What else can they throw at us?
I don't know. They could have ended like the cliffhanger with Loki waking up and like the other Lokis. Like they could have led into season 2 or whatever, and that would have been perfect. And now we have 2 more episodes.
Well, no, we know that after episode 6, Loki's done. There will not be another episode of Loki. That's it. Feige came out and said that. So we're gonna get a conclusion by episode 6, probably leading into Doctor Strange 2, right? Multiverse of Madness. And then I have a feeling it's also going to lead into Spider-Man as well. They're all going to be Kevin Feige style, all connected. And I think, shout out to my boy Seth because he dropped some knowledge on me this morning that I didn't even know. We've talked about maybe Kang's the timekeeper or whatever, blah blah blah. So there's a story, and I had to go on the Marvel wiki.
The answer is always Mephisto.
Well, I had to go on the Marvel wiki and look this storyline because I'd never heard of it before or nothing. So Kang on Earth 6311 brings the Avengers to his future on that Earth to impress Ravonna because he's in love with her. And so they become lovers. So me and Seth were texting. We're going to try and get Seth on for the finale, hopefully, maybe, to join us. But we were texting, and I said, well, they didn't do Thanos taking the Infinity Stones to impress Death, right? Like, he was in love with Death, and that was the original reason he took all the stones. I don't think they're going to go the route of Kang and Ravonna being lovers. However, I definitely think, and we were talking about this, Ravonna is some kind of devotee or follower of Kang's. Kang is in charge of the TVA, right? That's why we heard the laughing from the robots.
Yeah.
There's someone. It's like It's like the Wizard of Oz, right? There's someone behind the curtain. And
it could easily be one person because they never spoke at the same time.
Right. So I think that's where we're going with this.
All right.
Although our master Kevin
It is
Feige.
also possible that the boss Loki is actually the one, and like all the other Lokis are trying to group up.
Well, I had that
on
thought
him.
too.
Like,
I had
it's
that
always
thought too.
Loki. It always has been.
I had that thought too. There was some kind of variant Loki who is doing this instead of in Kang's place. Like he is. That's why they're hunting the variant Lokis down, like you said. And so now I'm interested to see. So we know when, because Seth was like, "Oh my God, like the other Lokis are all alive," and I said, "Bro, if they're alive,
is everyone alive or is it just
everyone who ever got zapped is alive?"
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the thing. Like,
so where do they go? Where do they go? I think
it looks like Earth. It looks like Earth, but
I think it's another universe, right? It's we're about to get the multiverse. It's another timeline, dimension, whatever you want to call it. We're here, right? This is the MCU as we know it, and they're getting sent over here, or
It is. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's the entire thing is possible to me. I've been so surprised and glad to watch the series since it started that I don't really have any like preference for how it goes. I know it will be entertaining either way, but yeah, I wonder if everyone is okay or if it's just the Lokis, because it seems like it's just the Lokis right now.
Well, that's all we've been shown is the Lokis.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there's some kind of. Oh, and here's the thing, the TVA taking all of these they say all the TVA agents are variants, right? I don't think so. I think some of them are. Maybe like their top agents are variants. But I think in order to fill that whole place, I think they've gone through the timeline and just kind of plucked people who didn't matter in the timeline. I don't think they're variants at all. I think they're going and just picking people who have no impact on what happens.
But also, we don't know how long the TVA has been around, because there could be infinite amount of variants that they've plucked out, right? Like it doesn't.
Sure.
The time doesn't matter in real time, like in our time, because they can go in wherever and pluck people out.
Right. But I'm just saying, I think they're just taking people who don't matter for the most part, like the librarian and all this stuff, like all these people.
Humans?
Exactly. We've not seen any other. We've not seen any.
Maybe humans are just easier to fool.
Like we haven't seen Korg, like we haven't seen.
yeah.
Or Meek or anybody,
Meek.
like.
Oh, Meek, he's alive.
How have kid Meek?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I like. Should we even try and give predictions? I know we kind of talked a little bit about it, but.
I don't know. There could very well be something special about Loki, like one variant Loki made it so that none of them could get pruned, and like, oh, we can all just gather our forces in this one area.
Right.
I don't know, man.
I think there's something special to Loki that goes across all timelines.
Yeah, and they already said he was the most likely variant. Like he's got like
all kinds of
variants,
and they all look different too.
Yeah.
So there's something about him or his lineage or whatever you want to call it. There's something that he plays an important role, like in every timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And then also I think we're gonna get the reveal that it's one person behind the TVA. It's either Kang or it's a different Loki.
Yeah, it's just gonna be like, what else did you expect?
And if it was Tom Hiddleston playing a different variant Loki, I'm down for that.
Yeah, I'm 100% down for that. Maybe it's the alligator Loki. Maybe it's
that would be sweet. But well, no, because we already seen him got white, so it's not. Maybe it's
we'll have an alpaca.
It's the anaconda Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean we got to get Mobius back at some point. I mean, those two. So. I'd like to see.
I would much more respect them. Just like he's gone. He was pruned. He died. Make me fear for like popular actors.
I want to kill him a second time. I want him to come back and then
kill him a second time.
I want him to come back and then like properly sacrifice himself. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like jump in front of a bullet or something. You know what I mean? Like take a knife for Loki instead of like saving Loki, because they are. He even says to him like a couple times in this episode, like they're friends. Like they consider each other friends. And so I want him to come back and sacrifice himself.
Yeah, and he'll be like, "You don't have to be alone."
And then that changes. Yeah, it changes Loki. You know, like Loki's like, "Oh my god, I gotta clean up my act here."
Yeah, and then him and Sylvie have weird Loki babies, right? Isn't that
Oh
how it
no,
works?
that might crack the universe wide open. I mean, we do something like, I mean, if them holding hands can spike the universe,
Yeah, yeah.
jeez, man, imagine if. But here's
If
the,
they did the nasty,
would it be like double Loki strength or just like another Loki?
yeah. I don't know. They'd have to do the nasty and the pasty. That's a Futurama reference.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I haven't seen that show in a long time.
Okay.
But anyway, man, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Is that inbreeding? Is that technically inbreeding?
Well, I've seen people say it's incest. I've seen people say it's masturbation.
Yeah, like it's you, but it's not. It's
If you
absolutely
go,
not you, like not related by blood or
if
anything.
you go on Loki Twitter, it's wild what people have been saying about those two, about Loki and Sylvie. So it's something, but yeah, man. I mean, I don't know how we're gonna get a proper resolution in 2 episodes. I still maintain Stephen Strange is showing up at some point. I mean, everything is pointing towards the multiverse. We're definitely getting him. And could you imagine if we got a Peter Parker appearance too?
Yeah. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Or maybe even
what if they brought in
Spider-Pig? No, they brought in Spider-Pig.
Yeah, they brought in Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland. That would be amazing, right? Like, oh,
I mean, that would be.
There's more of us.
That would be, dude. I mean, talk about an all-time episode of television. That would break the internet if they did that.
Into the Spider-Verse, except it's just the actual 3 actors.
I mean, I can't even. That's just gonna hurt my brain even more.
I want that to happen.
But we're definitely getting something. Oh, I read this week too. I haven't gone back and watched it, but it came out this week that so like when WandaVision first was on, right at the very end credits when she's reading through the Darkhold, nothing really happens, and then people went back and watched it, and I guess maybe a month ago or so, Marvel went back and added something to that very last scene where there's a shadowy figure resembling Doctor Strange walking through the tree line as they zoom out on her. And it's something that they purposely went back and edited.
I'll have to look at that then.
Right.
Because I didn't know that was a thing.
And it blew up a few days ago. I guess someone had gone and watched it and was like, hey, that wasn't there initially.
Wasn't there.
So Kevin Feige's up to something.
Yeah.
He's trying to pull one over on everybody. And he's probably going to do it, and it's going to be awesome. And that is where we are. This has been episode 4 of the Bros Watch Loki. This one we were breaking down the Nexus event. Follow along with us. Like I said, we're going to try to get my boy Seth on for the final episode of the season in a couple weeks. Rumor has it, I may actually be making an appearance down in Florida, so we might get the bros in the same place for that final episode. We'll have to see if that works out or not. But please, give us a like, rate, and subscribe. Leave us some questions. Even if you hate our show, you can troll us in the comments. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Feel free to troll away. Until then, this has been the guy on the left, aka Tim, joined by the guy with the hair, aka James. And we will see.
Do I qualify as the guy with the hair anymore?
Well, we can always get back there, But until then, until next week. Also, hey Marvel, Kevin, stop dropping these at midnight Pacific. Drop them at like 8 p.m. on a Wednesday night.
God, yeah. Or like maybe just don't do it in the middle of the week, like a Thursday or Friday night. Like you said, like an 8 p.m.
My old ass ain't staying up until 2 a.m. to watch Loki. I just can't do it. I wouldn't even make it through the episode. So, anyways,
it's school nights. We got work.
My only gripe with any of the Marvel stuff they've done on Disney Plus has been that don't drop them in the middle of the night. Like when we did The Expanse, they dropped it like 8 o'clock Central on Prime, and we would just do our recap and then boom, right away, do the recap right away, get it up on the internet, everybody could watch it. That's what I want, Kevin. Thank you. So thank you for your consideration. This has been the Bros Watch Loki. See you.
Peace.